The nature of filmmaking has certainly changed over its over 100-year history. New technologies and new techniques in filmmaking have changed the way we view the medium of cinema. But having worked on a film set myself, it's clear that so many people's hard work goes into creating the final product of a film. Even a simple scene where two characters are talking, maybe sitting down across from each other, requires so many people's input into crafting that scene into the finished product. Directing, staging, lighting, cinematography, sound, set design, costuming, it all plays a part into creating this illusion of making something fantasy a reality. And with the nature of films changing over the years, more action and more stunt work, it's clear that people want to see stuntmen and stuntwomen recognised for the hard work they do on films. The Academy Awards announced that it will have a new category for casting in the 2025 Oscars, but new categories could always be added to recognise other talents that are brought to the set of a film production. At the Academy Awards this year, we saw Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt talk about the film The Fall Guy and promote how the stunt people of Hollywood go unrecognised. The tribute that the two actors gave at the Academy Awards pointed out that the early directors, Charlie Chaplain, Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton, were all stuntmen in their own right, and some of the stunts done in these older Hollywood movies are as impressive today as they were back then. Despite the advancements in technology, as well as the impressive feats of filmmakers over the last few decades, stunt work seems to go unrecognised in the Hollywood community. Now, this tribute that was played at the Academy Awards was shown for a reason. One, it could have just been there to promote The Fall Guy, as that was an upcoming movie coming out of the Hollywood industry bubble. Or it could have been a way to gauge and read the room of how the Academy Awards would like to recognise stunt people going forward. Now, during the Cannes Film Festival, Empire magazine caught up with the head of the Academy Awards, and they did say that we're talking to members of the stunt community who are Academy members about the possibility of that in regards to adding a category recognising stunt work. They said, we added a new award that will launch in 2 years of casting directors, so we're always open to those discussions. The contribution of stuntmen and stuntwomen, as well as the coordinators who work on the set, do need to be recognised by the Academy Awards. Stunt work is very dangerous but highly coordinated, but when it comes to the final product, we almost don't recognise it. We just see it as a part of the choreography of the scene. So much hard work is going to go into the planning of any scene featuring stunt work. Stunts can be as simple as someone falling down a flight of stairs, tripping over, or it could be as complex as a person flying through the windscreen of a car, being flipped in a car, or just look at some of the work Tom Cruise does in the Mission Impossible films, taking part in a halo jump, flying helicopters close to cliffs, and running alongside the Burj Khalifa. These are certainly impressive, and in a world where CGI seems to be used a lot, the efforts to capture these scenes in camera is certainly worth it for the audience, and most of the time the audience does appreciate it, although it may go unrecognised in general. Some people may even brush it off, assuming it was just CGI in the first place. Stunt work has always existed in Hollywood, as I mentioned before about the work of Chaplin, Lloyd and Keaton, and arguably it'd be safer today than it was back then. However, there still are some mishaps on Hollywood movie sets involving stunt people. They can often go paralysed, gravely injured, and sometimes even killed. Doing some research for this video, it appears 2 pilots died during stunt work for the film American Made, although it appears that any lawsuit was settled out of court apparently, despite the fact that there was concerns about the safety of the pilots, as there was a keen interest in shooting these stunts for real. Notably, I remember when Deadpool 2 came out, one of the stunt women died performing thrown off a motorcycle. There does appear to be a lot of praise around the stunt performers' work on these movies in general, but there is a high risk of getting injured and possibly even killed on sets. Even with great planning and great coordination, stuff can go wrong all the time. There doesn't even need to be a major stunt for something to go wrong. Most recently, we had the report on the Marvel show Wonder Man that someone fell to their death off some rigging, and then even look at films like Rust, where Alec Baldwin fired a loaded gun killing the cinematographer, or look back at The Crow, how Michael Massey ended up killing Brandon Lee accidentally because the gun had a real bullet or residue of something in the chamber rather than just a blank. These things can happen, and the commitment to trying to do it as real as possible can sometimes cost lives, and maybe that's not a price worth paying at the end of the day. Recently, looking at some of the work of the John Wick movies, I'm very impressed with the fights and the coordination and just the level of action in those films. It's very impressive to see it caught in camera, and I can only imagine the planning and the commitment and the efforts of the coordinators, the stunt people, and actors involved to make a scene worthwhile for us to enjoy. And it is a shame that the hard work and efforts of those who put together these great scenes don't get recognised by the Academy at this time, and I do feel that is going to change. However, there could be an argument not to introduce this category to the Academy Awards because these stunts are dangerous and people get injured and people die. And if the Academy is going to be seen to reward these efforts, maybe these films are going to try and one-up each other on the stunt coordination and the types of stunts they are doing in these films, and that could put people at risk. And despite these stunt people signing waivers and knowing about the risks, is it worth it just to tell a great story? And I certainly feel that if this category did come in down the line and then stunt performers did die on the sets of these films, then the Academy may rescind this type of nomination as they don't want to be seen endorsing something that is particularly dangerous. Because of this, I assume there could have been two categories for stunt work. Maybe you have one for stunt performer and for stunt coordination. So the stunt coordination looking at the planning and the execution of the stunts, and then looking at the performers themselves. But having a stunt performer, as I said, being rewarded for doing more and more dangerous stuff is putting them at risk. So if they're only going to have one category, I think it's going to go down to the stunt team who are doing the coordination on the projects and not necessarily the performer actually doing these stunts. Recognizing stunt coordination and having a team of members who work on a film coordinating and developing these scenes to be as safe as possible and as entertaining as possible seems to be the right way for the Academy to go. If they are going to start giving awards to stunt actors doing this work, it is going to put those people at risk, and I think that would be seen as a negative endorsement of encouraging people to do dangerous stuff. Any announcement of a category for stunt work is going to be a few years away. I don't think it'll be as early as next year, maybe 2 or 3 years' time before we actually see this introduced. And I think there is a chance that they could not do this at all, stating they don't want to encourage or endorse dangerous stunt work. Whilst we do understand that it is a part of the movie-going experience, and I think people do appreciate what it is when they see a great stunt on a film, I don't feel it would be necessarily responsible for the Academy to endorse dangerous types of filmmaking when it comes to stunt work. But I'm certainly divided on this subject matter because the dangerous stunts still take place and some of the stunt people aren't getting recognised for their work. So I would like to see them introduce the category of stunt coordination rather than stunt performer, for example, and hopefully people can appreciate the stunt work that goes into making these big Hollywood movies. I am keen to hear your thoughts on the introduction of a potential stunt category at the Academy Awards. Do you feel like it is about time that this got recognised, or do you feel that because of the dangerous nature of the job, the Academy doesn't want to be seen endorsing dangerous work that could cost lives? So please let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure to click the bell icon to receive notifications for all of my videos. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in.